Hey guys, good morning. How's it going?
Good morning.
Hope everybody's well. Do me a favor, if for a couple of you that are in the car, can you mute your thing just because we're getting some road noise? Today, we're going to talk about an idea that Juliana came to me with yesterday, talking about staying in touch with and engaging your sphere. So talking about different ways that folks have used, different approaches that they've used to reach out to your sphere, to stay in front of them, social media, in person, maybe mailers, etc. So this is just really going to be a general discussion with the opportunity for everybody to hopefully provide some input. I'm going to let Juliana start it off because she really came to me, like I said, with a topic. So I wanted to kind of get her thoughts about maybe what she's been thinking about, maybe some other things she's been considering, and then we can kind of go to the group with it. So Juliana, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, so I feel like the roadblock I have is that I know so many local people that aren't moving. They're in their forever homes or just have already purchased a home and they're not looking to move anywhere. I did have something cool happen. One of my friends that moved out to California, she's part of like the air station community, and she hooked me up with a Facebook group of moms of officers' wives that I could get on and kind of see when people are moving and ask for if anybody needs my help when they're moving to Jacksonville.
I think that's good to position yourself in front of people who aren't here yet, but who may be coming here. I mean, I think that's a great way to do it because somebody in there is, and hell, if you get one person a year, that's worth every bit of effort you put into that because it's going to be, kind of minimal anyways. What have you done so far? What kind of posts have you done so far? Have you gotten anyone in? Sometimes those things can be tricky because of restrictions on what they allow you to post. So kind of, are you aware of any restrictions? How have you tried to work around it, etc.?
Well, my friend that got me in, she was like, I was like, do they allow people to do that? And she was like, technically no, but people do it all the time. It's not like I'm going to post a business card, but if somebody says, hey, can anybody recommend a realtor in Jacksonville? We're moving. I can be like, hey, I can help you with that. But it's not like I'm putting an ad out in there. They don't allow that type of stuff.
Sure.
I'm in an officer wives group on Facebook, Juliana, and I got a listing out of it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Were you doing anything actively in there, Felicia, or did you just see somebody?
No, you're not allowed, but PCS season, wives are always posting in there about they are PCSing and they're looking for a realtor, or they'll post that they need to sell their house and they're looking for a realtor. And then it's a good place if you have a military spouse to tell them to post their listing in that group to get people to look at it whenever you're trying to sell it too. So,
Gotcha.
But if you're in there, Juliana, and you do have a listing like in Jacksonville or something like that, you can post it in there. I think, the group I'm in, I don't know if we're in the same group, but I think on like Sundays or something like that, they'll allow you, if you're in there, they'll allow you to post it on a Sunday or something like that. You just have to read the rules.
Gotcha. These people are out in California. Can't remember. Is it Pendleton or I don't know what's out there. I can't remember.
Pendleton is.
Yeah. So it's them.
But I mean, it does work. I mean, I think military wives are pretty faithful. So if you can get in there with one of them, and the listing I got, she interviewed like 12 realtors. So it was tough. But I went and met her in person, and she said that only 3 people asked to meet her in person. The rest asked for telephone appointments. So just try to stand out.
Getting in front of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does work.
But that's, like I said, my biggest roadblock is I just feel like I know locals. I know a lot of people, but I feel like I don't know people that are interested in buying a house. So any input on that?
I think so. that was a little bit of a different discussion because that wasn't necessarily your sphere, although it could be. You could know people in those groups, so you can use it. What we're really talking about is kind of like that 7 degrees of separation Kevin Bacon thing, right? Where your sphere might not be the person you end up helping, but staying in front of your sphere helps them recognize when folks need to do something, and your name is the one that comes to mind. And that's kind of like being a cheerleader for you. So you're kind of building up your cheerleader team of folks who are listening out for those conversations and are ready to jump and go to bat for you and say, hey, well, I heard you talking about this. You really need to talk to Juliana, because that's what she does. And she's on a great team. And I know she'll take fantastic care of you.
Yeah, Brandon's old office, the office manager, Miss Kim, she loves me, and she got a bunch of my cards, and anybody that's coming on to a new job, she gives them my card if they're looking. My dad looked it up. My dad gives my card down at, he gave a card to one of his neighbors. So that was awesome. That is,
Sounds like that's working out pretty well, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing about your sphere. We have to break it down in two different ways. Yes, we want to help our sphere, but we also have to train our sphere to be our cheerleaders and go out there for us and talk on our behalf. So if you know that your sphere is out there talking to people, you've got to equip them so they can get people in touch with you. And that means almost first and foremost, don't tell them to call me. Get their information and set the expectation that I'm going to call them. Because if they tell them to call you, 99 times out of 100, it ain't going to happen. Help them understand why. Don't just tell them that. Be like, here's the deal. If you give my information to people, it's unlikely that they're going to call me. I want you to give my information to people, but also get theirs. What's the best way for her to get in contact with you? I'll just have her drop you a note. She can give you her contact information. I'm not sure what her email is. She can send you the invitation to her website. Quick and easy. Nothing really complicated.
Mm-hmm.
My
Other
husband
thoughts?
is habitual about that. He's always like, oh, well, I gave them your card and they're going to call you. I'm like, no, I need their information, because whoever contacts them first is who they're probably going to work with. Like, I need to call them. He's terrible about that.
It really is a training thing. And people who aren't in sales don't get it. So first you have to get it, and then you have to help them get it. You got to explain it to them and explain to them why. It is really about training your sphere if you want them to be your cheerleaders. And one thing that we used to do that I haven't done a great job of doing, but that would make a lot of sense. And in theory, it works great. You just have to get out there and do it. Make a list of people that you consider your cheerleaders, that you can hook up with some swag, and, ask them to share your posts. Ask them to make sure that they're liking your posts to help increase your visibility. Things like that. We're not talking about anything really difficult for anybody to do, but that's what cheerleaders do, right? They're out there pumping you up. Just like when you're sharing stuff that's going on with their business. If they're a hairdresser, or they own a cleaning company, or they own a restaurant, or they own a car dealership, or they own a pressure washing service, something like that. It's all reciprocal. One of the things I tell everybody, I had this conversation, I think with Lisa during our meeting last week, because she was talking about the same thing. I don't have, well, not the same thing, but I don't have a real big sphere here. Well, I bet you spend money in a lot of places. Do those people know what you do? Are you asking them for business? Are you leaving cards and stuff at their place of business so they can give it out to folks? Because if you're not, you're missing a good opportunity. And people, if you spend money there, they should be more than happy for you to leave materials behind or share your materials. If you notice, if you go see somebody and they always have a bottle of water or something on their thing, you better damn sure make sure they have a koozie. Think about ways that you can, what is the thing that they say, like, when you're dating, like a leave behind, like somebody will leave something behind so they have a reason to go back to your house and get it. Well, leave behind where you spend money so it's something that's visible there. Bless you. I've got no problem with, if it's a very targeted approach, pulling some of the closing stuff swag out of the closet back there and doing that, but it can't just be a shotgun approach. It's got to be people who you know are really going to support you. If you want to do something that way, you know, put together little gift baskets and put some koozies in there or something. Nothing like terribly expensive, you know, just something that stands out and says, hey, I appreciate you. We're friends. It would mean a lot to me, you know, if you're out there being my cheerleader. Who's got other thoughts on that? What are some other things folks have done?
I think it's just about being in front of people, not necessarily talking about real estate. I mean, people know what you do. They see your stuff on social media. So it's just about making sure you're trying to engage and have a conversation with people, not even about real estate. Um, I've had a couple situations where past neighbors and stuff, they know what I do. They'll reach out or connect me with somebody. And it's just because I stay in front of them by, you know, trying to be a good friend and talk to them regularly. I think one thing I try really hard not to do is real estate people to death, because I don't want to come across that way. So I do my real estate stuff on social media, but I also try to do mostly like family or dog stuff because that's what people really like. But people see this stuff and they know what you're doing. So if you're checking in, I mean, it's kind of like yesterday, the Bob Corcoran video. When you have a conversation with someone you haven't talked to in a while, inevitably, you two are going to ask each other, how's professional life, how's business or whatever. That's a perfect opportunity for you to say, if you know anyone I can help, you know, if you hear anyone looking to buy or sell, you know, please put me in touch with them, call me and let me know how I can get a hold of them. But I think so much of it comes down to just trying to be yourself and be a good friend or a good person to people, and making sure you're making an effort to call the people in your sphere. You don't have to beat them over the head with real estate, but just stay in touch with them and they'll think of you so much more. And I was actually having a very similar conversation with Charles yesterday in the office, especially when you start getting to where you've got past clients. I'm going to do poinsettias the week after Thanksgiving, and I'm going to nuke people with poinsettias and a business card and one of those little Ocean Air note cards just to say, hey, thanks, because our past clients are going to become our biggest cheerleaders, right? So Juliana, in the situation you're in where you don't have a ton of past clients, do something similar with people that you do a lot of business with, right? Do something similar with people that you would consider your top personal cheerleaders, your top personal friends. You know, I'm not saying you need to go out and spend $25 on each person, but think of something really small, because no one really cares ultimately at the end of the day what you get them, right? It's all about the principle, the thought that you took the time to drive to someone's house and put this on their doorstep, or at least that you thought about them. So I think those little things add up in time, and it's really hard to see it, especially when you first start, because I was doing all the stuff, Juliana, probably like just what you're doing right now, and thinking, well, shit, here I am. I'm 35 years old. Everyone I know knows a realtor. Why are they going to use me? You know, you have to get past that. That is a mental projection. People aren't thinking about that. You are thinking about that yourself. People are going to see what you're doing. It's just like the leads. It takes time to get to where you have a number in your pipeline. So just keep with the blocking and tackling and just stay focused, and it is going to happen. But you got to believe that it's going to happen, and you have to do it. Those are really the two most important parts of all of it. So much of everything we do is mental.
Yeah. And
I think
It can't be stated enough, to be honest with you. If it's already a non-starter in your head, you're never going to be able to do it.
Oh,
You
it is
gotta-
definitely not a non-starter. I'm like, I know y'all know a bunch of real estate agents, but choose me. I'm the best. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do
Well,
it.
you know,
See, and that's a great point. I'm glad you said that. I don't talk to people that way. I can totally see you saying to someone, I know you know a bunch of agents, but I can't believe you put someone in touch with them rather than me.
Yeah.
I don't say stuff like that. That's not my personality. There's no right or there's no wrong, but you have the confidence to say that. So shit, say it. What are
You
they
gotta
going to
do it your way.
No. You know, if they're in your life and you care about them, they're going to be there no matter what. So go ahead and rip off the knob, feet on the dash.
Feet on the dash.
And I think it's smart to just check in with them every now and then and not make it about real estate. Just establish a relationship. That way they don't think you're just coming at them for business. That's just one point to what Brandon said. And then another point is I've done like the gourmet popcorn tins at Christmas before. And people really like those if you didn't want to give a plant or anything.
Mhm.
Just an idea.
Do you mail those or do you do like drop off?
I do pop buys. I just drop them off.
If you dropped off Popeyes, people would love that. That's a great idea.
No,
Just
pop
take over
buys.
some tenders. That's fantastic.
Not
Felicia,
Popeyes.
you do a Popeyes drop off, and I'll do
A
Bojangles.
Popeyes pop buy. Holy shit. You'll probably get so many leads you can't even deal with it. I'm not talking about spinach. I'm talking about chicken.
Copyright that.
I'm like Felicia. I like to do the drop off if I can, because I think it just comes across better that you took the time to get out and drive out there and do it yourself. I hope to get to a certain point where I have to get someone to do that for me because I'm so busy. But another thing that I do, guys, especially with past clients, is if I'm in an area where someone I sold a house to lives, I will call them and be like, hey, I was just thinking about you. I am nearby. Unfortunately, I don't have time to swing by. I'm in an appointment, but I just want to let you know I was thinking about you. What can I help you out with anything? How's everything going? And people love the fact that, hey, I've bought houses before and I've never heard from them after closing. So I try to do a lot of that stuff.
I mean, it's simple stuff. I think like engaging with their social media, just little ways, commenting, likes, just, here's the thing. If you're posting something on social media, 9 out of 10 people are checking to see who's engaging with it, right? Either liking it or commenting it. So how do you stay front of mind? Well, like their damn posts. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. That's the little bit of vanity piece that comes along with social media, right? People check that because they want to know who's looking at their stuff and who's engaging with it. And what I love about the stories is people don't engage with it, but they're looking at it. And you get people that you never talk to, but they're looking at every damn one of your stories. So seeds are being planted out there that you don't even know are being planted.
Yeah,
That's why I started doing these videos, because I can't necessarily see everybody who's looking at the videos, but I can see the engagement amount with the posts because you can see how many people view the videos, right? I can't see how many people view my static post with text in it or a picture, but you can the video. Go ahead, Janine.
No, I was just going to say I did a story at a final walk yesterday and I had 72 views on it. So
That's amazing. Holy shit.
yeah.
That's a lot. Well, and another thing that you can think about trying to figure out like who your cheerleaders are, check your posts regularly and see whose faces always pop up.
Yeah.
Make a list of those folks.
Reach out to those people. You don't have a ton of past clients. Well, if you put up 18 things in a span of 6 weeks and 4 or 5 people like all of them, they're probably your cheerleaders. And I know sometimes it's uncomfortable to put down or to think about maybe I'm doing too much real estate, but you got to think that not everybody sees every single post you make, especially when they're looking. And not everybody is in real estate like we are. Every time we get on Facebook, what's the first thing you see? Like 7 Oceanair posts, right? But we're all friends with each other and all of our other friends that work in the industry. The people that live in your subdivision, they don't probably know, but you or maybe one other realtor, and they're probably not hitting social media like we are. So they're not getting this deluge of social media real estate content like we are. So don't think of it that way. And don't give a shit anyway. No one really cares.
Don't overthink it. Also have fun with it. I mean, I don't think it can be stated enough that obviously it doesn't all have to be about real estate. That's why my first post that I did the other day was about SiriusXM, because I'm sitting there waiting for my client. I'm like, what the hell can I post about that's not real estate? And I was setting up my SiriusXM. I was like, and adding favorites. And I was like, well, hell, boom, that's it. Everybody's in the car listening to the radio. What do people have to say? And it's not really that hard. Just come up. Everybody has these little things in life that we all have in common that we never talk about. Put those things out there and see who engages with it. You never know. We have more in common than we think.
Speaking of Sphere, Brandon, my closing yesterday was a SOI referral, and it's only my second referral that I've done with an SOI, but how, obviously I'm going to give like a like a little gift card or something to say thank you. What monetary amount is appropriate for that. I think I did like $10 on the last one.
Well, I don't think I don't really think there's a hard and fast rule, Janine. I think it just comes down to what you think that they would appreciate.
Okay. Do
You know,
you have like a consistent thing that you do with your referrals? Like, does everybody get a Starbucks card? Does it, just like,
depending on who it is, and my relationship with them, quite frankly, determines what I do. It's not even the purchase price of the client.
yeah, exactly.
To me, like most people, I get them a bottle of wine. Or
Okay.
a nice bottle of wine, something decent.
I think it depends on how well you know them, right? And what you can get them that you know that they'd enjoy.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as
You froze on us.
hear me?
No.
You froze, Felicia, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as neighborhoods go, my neighborhood personally, I used to be really good about this, but on holidays, I would take a portion of my neighborhood just because it's big, and I would, like Valentine's Day, I would get the little box of hearts that have the little messages on it, and I would put my card on it, and I would hand make a little card, and I would put like your referrals are the heart of my business or whatever, and I would do so many houses in my neighborhood per holiday or per season, and I would try to knock out my whole neighborhood in one year. I need to get back on that. That should be my goal for 2021. And sometimes I would have people call and say, "Oh, we're thinking about moving." Obviously, I didn't get a lot out of it, but maybe if I was more consistent, it might be more effective.
I think consistency is the key with any of this stuff, whether it's your weekly post or if it's your canvassing your neighborhood or anything like that. If you're not going to do it consistently, one-offs are not going to make an impact. People are going to need to see something over and over and over again before it starts to resonate and stick. So if you're going to take the time to do something, before you do it, take the time to plan a couple of pieces of the process, right? And do it before you start anything.
Yeah.
Just like as an FYI for the team, for our closed clients, I'm going to do a Christmas card. I did one last year, right? And it goes to everybody. And I want us to get a picture at our offsite of everybody, so everybody sees everybody on there, right? When it goes to all of our closed clients, of course. But I certainly would encourage you to do your own family card to your closed clients as well. I do that also. I send our family Christmas card to my closed clients, the ones that aren't complete psychopaths.
I do that too. I was telling Charles this yesterday too. My past clients, I call them a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, and a year. I have, as soon as they close, I make those to-dos in Boomtown.
There is a drip I started in Boomtown that has follow-ups like that.
That's right. And I honestly need to add those. I just haven't. I should start with my next closing. But like I say, I try to call those people. I don't try to overdo it, but so much of what I tell them during the buyer consult and as we're looking at places and going through it together is, about their personal relationship we're going to forge. So I really try to live through that after we've closed by staying in touch with them regularly. If I see that they've had a family achievement or something like that on Facebook, I always call, things like that.
Any other thoughts? Anything anybody else has tried or been thinking about trying?
I actually brought my clients the first Christmas in our new home ornaments.
Love that. I
So
think that's a great idea. Your past clients become your sphere. So we're kind of talking about that. Well, they're not your sphere, but your past clients are as equally as important as your sphere, just in a different way, right? Because you might not necessarily help your sphere, but the target is to be in front of them so they refer people to you, right? Your past clients, in a similar way, you might not help them again, or it might be several years, but you want them to refer people they know to you. the statistic I was always taught was that everybody knows, like 1 in 7 people know somebody who's going to buy or sell a house during the year. So, you know, if you know 70 people, that's 10 potential client leads. If you're the first person that those people think of. So what are you doing to make sure that you are? Other thoughts, questions? If not, we can go. I think it's been a good discussion.
Yeah, I appreciate all the out of the box ideas.
I think when you're trying to engage with your sphere, it's more fun over business, you know, and then you can, you know, wrap the business in at the end or something. Or, you know, you're doing something fun, but you've got something subliminal in your video that reminds people what you do, you know, something like that. So it's not overt, but it's also there. Something like that. Anybody have anything else? All right. Well, I look forward to hearing how you start testing some of these things out and kind of the results you have with it. My biggest thing is be visible, have fun with it, be consistent with it. Those 3 things will go a long way. All right. Cool. Thanks everybody for participating in our optional scripts. You guys get gold stars for being above and beyond and being here. I will be talking to, I think, some of you today. And then I'll see everybody for regular scripts on Thursday. If you need anything, holler. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day.